Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Tia.
And I'm your host, Koya.
Welcome to the Wig Life Podcast.
For wig lovers and wearers navigating life.
Because it's not just wigs, it's life.
Let's get into the episode. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Wig Life Podcast. Now, today, you guys, we are going to be talking about these wig levels. Okay? We're going to be talking about the beginner, the intermediate, and advanced, because we find that a lot of times as wig reviewers on YouTube, right? And this has happened to me, even being a reviewer. You will see somebody review a wig, or you'll see a wig on a website or wherever, and you're like, ooh, that is so cute. Yeah, I'm getting that. Then you order it, and you put it on, and you're like, what happened? Why
doesn't it look like?
Yeah. Why I don't look like that? What happened? So this whole episode, we're going to be breaking down why that happens, because I don't think, especially if you're just beginning to wear wigs, that you realize that there really is levels and skill sets. And some of us are better skilled than others, but there's definitely a level, entry level, intermediate, and advanced. And then even with the wigs, the way they're made, the features that they have, the caps, they can be very much either a beginner, intermediate, or advanced.
So just to clarify, if you are new to wigs, there's not going to be like we're saying wig levels and we're calling them beginner, intermediate, and advanced. This is like in our opinion, and we're going to break down like what kind of styles we think fall into what category.
Yeah.
But what I don't want people to think is like if you go on a website to purchase a wig, it's not going to say like this is a beginner wig.
No.
This is the stuff that you're supposed to sort of figure out on your own.
This is why we're doing this podcast, to help you figure that out.
So if you are new to wigs, even if you're not, but especially if you're new to wigs, understand that if you are brand new, you don't have a lot of experience, and especially if you don't have a lot of experience even with your own bio hair, then there's probably wigs. We're not saying you can't. You can do whatever you want to do.
Absolutely.
You're capable, but just understand that there is probably going to be a larger learning curve to particular styles, features, types, etc.
Yeah.
So why don't we start with, in our opinion, because I deal mostly and only with synthetic.
Yeah.
And
I deal with both human and synthetic.
So I do think that in general we will have similar but different opinions and insights for you guys in terms of if you are really where you're at in your wig journey, which wigs will probably work best for you.
Yeah.
So I would say for beginner.
Yeah, let's start with beginners.
When I have new people coming to me, a lot of my clients have hair loss, medical related hair loss. So I'm thinking beginner based on the fact that my clients or customers may not have bio hair. So that's how I'm thinking beginner.
Okay.
So I always suggest one of two types of wigs. Either a full cap wig, meaning there's no lace to cut, there's no lace to blend. You could or could not use your bio hair. You don't need to. Usually those full cap wigs, if they're going to be passable, will come with some type of bang. And so the full cap wig is what I would suggest if you are brand new, or a half wig, which is something that you can blend. If you have bio hair, you can blend them. But for me, again, most of my clients do not. And so I always suggest a half wig with a headband. And the reason is because, first of all, they're fast. I think that using the half wig on top of, or using a headband on top of a half wig gives you a second layer of security. And that's the thing for new people, are always afraid of like their wig falling off and things like that. And I also think that it's just the easiest way to get used to having hair, because visually, I know it might sound goofy, but visually you have that headband, so there is that sort of separation, and you're not like, wow, this is like a stark color against my skin. I also feel like you don't have to worry about like root colors as much. So if you were like a natural blonde and you wanted to go a little darker, because you have that headband sort of separating it and it's not sitting against your skin. I don't know if that even makes sense.
No,
but
it does.
Like,
it makes sense.
It's not as strong of a difference, and you don't have to worry about like, I know some people who want to wear, either they want to wear, or they're fairer skinned and they want to wear more like the medium to light browns or the blondes.
Yes.
They won't go any darker. I think with the headband wigs, you can get away with going a little bit darker and not feel as uncomfortable because it's not directly against your skin.
Yeah.
So those are my 2 suggestions for like newbie. What about you?
So for me, a lot of people in my audience and I personally wear wigs for protective styling. So usually you can maybe have some hair loss or not with that, but sometimes you do have your own hair. So if you are a beginner, I would suggest that you start with a synthetic wig over human, only because human hair is a lot like taking care of your own hair. And I also think, being a beginner too, regardless to the reason of why you're wearing wigs, I think when you put a wig on, you have to get used to seeing yourself with a wig. I think there's like a mind shift that has to happen, like I'm wearing a wig, that whole like process. So I definitely think you should start with synthetic. I would suggest synthetic first. And then I would suggest, like Tia was saying, something that doesn't have lace, where you're not having to cut or blend lace. A lot of really, there's a lot of wigs that have come out that are a little bit older, but they're still not like out of style, that come that way. And then also Outre's wig pop collection is like very affordable, and they have trends, and they don't have,
They're all full cap wigs.
yeah, they're all full cap wigs. They don't have lace or anything like that, so you don't have to worry about tinting it. And just, practice putting the wig on, because no matter what type of wig you're wearing, when you take it out of the box, you have to do a little bit of styling. I think that's another thing that beginners don't realize. Like, you're not going to take a wig out of the box and have it ready. Even if it's custom made for you and styling, you're still going to have to like work with it a little bit, because it's probably packaged up and shipped
Well, yeah,
in
you
something.
have to wake the fibers up.
Yeah.
So that's the thing that I think people don't understand.
Yeah.
It's in the box. If it's synthetic,
Right.
if it's been, it's synthetic. So these are fibers. So
Right.
if it's been in a warehouse and then in a truck, and then like just that heating and cooling, it can
Yes.
kind of, in the name brand wig world, they call that cold set or cool set.
Okay.
But it's just basically shaped to the box, right?
Yeah.
But like if it has permatease, you do just have to sort of
Yeah, you gotta
wake
work
up.
with
You know,
it.
you have to sort of just wake up the fibers. They're
Yeah.
sticking together. You have to just like zhuzh it up.
Yeah, and I could even speak to human hair wigs, because I wear human hair wigs. I sell the extensions and the clip-ins, and because it's all packaged up, the hair is straight, but like the ends might be like a little wavy or like a little bent, because it's been in a
Like
package.
crimped.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like crimped, so you might have to put some heat in there and just straighten it. So just have the expectation is you are going to have to work with it a little bit. Now, also, bang wigs are great, because bangs usually are pretty simple. If you like bangs, I would do a bang wig. And then, like you were saying, Tia, they actually have, if you don't want to do a half wig, they actually have headband wigs with the headband actually sewn
It's
on
attached.
to the wig. It's literally attached. And those come in human and synthetic. And I would think those are also a good option. And if you want to do a human hair wig, I would say start with a headband wig, just so you can get used to the styling portion, especially if you're going with a curly wig, because baby, curly human hair is a work.
Yeah, we can talk about that when we're talking
yeah,
about
when we get to the
advanced.
band. So let's go ahead and move into intermediate. So what do you feel about intermediate?
I'd say for intermediate, this is a place where you're getting some skills, you're kind of feeling comfortable. I think a lace part wig is really nice, because you do have the option of lace, and depending on how the lace part is, it can be wider or not. If you're going to go name brand, sometimes they can be monofilament. Monofilament means that each hair is hand tied to the lace, so it's going to give a lot more movement and options. So I would go lace part. I also think that this would be a good time to maybe start playing around a little bit with some trend wigs, but understand that you are going to, need to do some things. Some trends may not work, okay? This is also where I think if you're intermediate, I do think that you can do sort of a lace front. I would avoid at this stage the melted laces. I'd also, not saying avoid, but if you're not comfortable with lace, if you're nervous about cutting it, I would either do, like I saw some wigs, one of them where I get wigs, and I do that for you. Like I cut the lace for you and everything like that. Or in some of my name brand wigs, although they're lace front, they're considered ready to wear. Okay, so they're already cut. So they are lace front, but you don't have to customize, you don't have to cut, you don't have to do that. So I would go that direction to try to figure out how to work with lace and things like that. Or buy a cheap lace front wig and have it to practice cutting the lace off. Because there's so many clients of mine that I know where it's just they cut the lace too close, or they hacked it, or something like that, and then it just ended up their whole wig was ruined. Because lace, though it can be fixed technically, there's a lot of scenarios where that's just not going to work out. And it's definitely, if you're at an intermediate level, you're not going to be sewing your lace to the point where it's going to be salvageable. I mean, I'm just being real.
Yeah, no, you're right.
What do you think in terms of intermediate?
So for intermediate, I would say you could, now this is where we're a little bit different. I would say you could play with some lace tinting, but maybe not. So for like human hairs, or even now more synthetic wigs are coming with where they have that parting space. You'll see like 4x4, 13x5. And what that means is there's a larger area in the cap where you can part the wig. So instead of the wig having just the middle part, and maybe you just literally slide the wig to the right or to the left to have a side part, you can actually part the wig and move it to the right or left.
And those are called set parts.
Yeah.
When you can't shift it. And in the name brand wig side, if you're seeing wigs that are called monofilament, those are still the 13x6 or 4x4. That's just the area of lace that is available to move.
That you can
so
use
in a
to part.
monofilament, it's the same situation. They just don't define the actual area. Like you can see it in the cap, but they don't define that cap style based on the number of this, the area to be messed with. But if it's a monofilament cap, that means that it does move around like human hair and can be shifted around. The part can be shifted around, like the affordable wig,
the
would
parting
be that
space.
13x6 or 4x4 or whatever.
So if you want to do the parting space, I feel like that's a little bit more intermediate. But the thing is, you're going to have to tint the lace, and so as an African American woman, or in a woman of color, those type of wigs, a lot of the times, if you are darker or have more melanin in your skin, you're going to have to probably tint that lace. So if you're not comfortable with tinting lace yet, and there's a lot of ways, and if you want an episode about that, we can talk about that too, but there's a lot of tools. They have literally wig sprays. A lot of people use their own foundation or makeup, but things that you can use to tint lace. I feel like that's a little bit more intermediate and even could be advanced. But
I've never had a tint lace.
Yeah.
I don't need a tint. But
yeah, so that, I think tinting, when it comes into lace tinting, I think that's a more intermediate thing. I don't think if you're just beginning, you should be,
well, and I
lace
think,
yet.
well, then building off of that, I do a lot of wig dyeing and synthetic wig dyeing. And I have a lot of videos on that. But I definitely think that's definitely not a beginner thing.
No.
And wig dyeing,
yeah, that's definitely advanced.
Starting in intermediate, if you're doing some of the wig dyeing, like toning and dyeing, toning really, it doesn't really take that much. You're just putting in, the purple RIT synthetic dye more with alcohol in a baggie. There's not really a lot. So I'd say maybe intermediate is the toning. And then advanced would be sort of the wig dyeing.
Yeah, I would say intermediate would be like we would call darkening the roots. So you know how some wigs, say you want to wear a blonde wig, and then you can put root spray or makeup or something on there to darken up the roots. I know I have done that because sometimes, especially if you play a lot of color, I know I wear sometimes blonde or more platinum blondes.
Beginner, intermediate. Intermediate
so
for
I feel
darkening the roots.
Messing around with that, you probably want to feel just a little bit more comfortable. So I would say doing that kind of stuff would definitely be more intermediate.
Well, I also think that what you're using to do roots, maybe we could even break it down further. If you're more of a beginner, I would use a brow powder.
Yeah.
And you can do the roots with that because you can wash that out.
Exactly.
At intermediate, I use a combination of dry shampoo and root spray. But although it can technically be washed out, if it's a real blonde wig, it could stain a little bit.
Yeah.
So I would say beginner, start with powder that you can wash out if you don't like it or if it goes wrong. And then intermediate would be using like the dry shampoos, the root sprays. And then if you want to do something a little bit more permanent, obviously that would be
the dye.
More your advanced.
Yeah. I would definitely agree with that. You know, I have like rooting spray. I've even used on synthetic wigs. I've even used what's the Sharpies. I even use Sharpies to go in there.
I've done that before.
The only
I think
thing
that's
is,
a little advanced.
I was gonna say, but the only thing is,
because you can go real wrong.
You can't take it, you know, away. It can leave a stain, especially if it's like a lighter or platinum color wig. So just be careful with that. But
see, I always
definitely
use
stay with
Sharpies
makeup
for the colored wigs.
Yeah,
so
I do
that
too.
I could do not like a stark, like maybe a dark. Like I have a video where it was a green wig and I wanted to add roots. And so I used a hunter green Sharpie so that it was a darker root, but it's also green.
Okay. I've always used black. Now I'm thinking back. I'm trying to think, did I have
when I do colored wigs, I try it if I can. You should try it sometime because it does give it a little something. Like it's still dark, but it does, it meshes a little bit better if the base, so like say you have maybe a pinker wig, then I would use like a dark maroon.
Okay. Because see, I in the past have just made them dark, like black or brown, just dark.
But you are
that would
attracted
be fun.
to wigs that have those weird
I love
roots.
colors. I love
That's
color.
what I'm saying.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
you know,
but I don't know why.
do
I
more
guess
like a
I guess what
color
I'm saying is
blocking.
I've never even thought to do that. I've always just thought make it look more natural, because sometimes I feel like with colored wigs, sometimes it can have, especially synthetic,
Yeah,
a
but
really
your natural hair
wiggy
is
vibe.
dark and mine's not.
Yeah. So I know for me, I've always thought, so I'm gonna have to try that, you guys. I'm gonna have to
it'll
try
be
that.
fun.
Yeah, I will
Advanced.
definitely try that. But yeah, so that to me is intermediate. Anything that's dealing with lace more, for me, I think that's more intermediate, because dealing with lace is very nuanced. And if you're dealing with a wig where you have to like spray it to make it darker for your skin tone, the thing about that is you want to go in very light, because you can always add more, but if you put too much, you can't take it away. So, you know, the thing
Do
is,
you have any videos on that?
I have a video where I use lace tint spray, and I talk about it, but I don't have a thing like specifically for that. So maybe I need to create something like it. Let me know, you guys, if you're watching on YouTube, in the comments if you would like something like that. But yeah, definitely you want to go in with less is more, and just slowly but surely add to it. And I think the easiest, really, if you're just starting, is probably to go in with your own foundation or your own makeup, because you know that matches.
Yeah.
Because some of these sprays are really general, like they can't get as
Like
specific
the
as a
undertones
makeup.
can be weird.
Yeah, so you know,
like, this is looking
some
real
of the
orange.
some of the wig sprays. Like I've even seen people mix 2 wig spray colors to make things. It can get really complex. So you know, more of an intermediate would be just use whatever foundation powder that you're comfortable with. Just use that one. A thing that's really cost effective, Maybelline has
The Fit Me
the
powders.
Fit Me powders are great. They even have
I use that to
the
set my under
foundation.
eyes.
Yeah, those Fit Me powder, and they come in a
lot
lot
of
of
colors.
shades. Yes, so definitely start there, especially if you're a melanin girl. Get you one. Fenty has a lot of colors too, and just start there with it so that you feel more comfortable. But I would definitely say intermediate wigs definitely are the ones with the parting space, and ones when you're dealing with more lace. And then human hair, I would definitely say, is more intermediate, because you find with human hair, unlike synthetic wigs, for the most part, synthetic wigs are already styled, and they will, for the most part,
They'll
retain
stay
their
there
style. Yeah.
If that's what you want.
If you take care of it, yeah. But with the human hair, you gotta kind of style those ones. You can't, even if they come like body wave or come straight, you still have to go in and do a little something.
So I think that leads us into the advanced.
Yeah.
And so I would say for me, advanced, and I'll let you elaborate, is
Yeah,
human
yeah.
hair in general.
Yeah.
But I also think that advanced would be these melted lace wigs. They look great. They're a great price point. I understand. but they can go real wrong real fast. Also, you have to know about, most of the time you do have to glue those down. I don't personally glue wigs down. I'm a migraine sufferer, so I don't do that. So you have to know not only about gluing down, but I did have somebody ruin one of their name brand wigs because they were gluing it down and they weren't able to get the glue off properly. So you do have to know how to remove your glue. You have to so those are all like layers to things.
Yes.
I also feel like, with the human hair, there's a whole, what's the word? Just like when we did an interview with Faith from My Mature Style, and she was saying how she had saw somebody have a human hair wig and she went to buy it, but there's very specific like lengths and patterns, and this like it has its own like vocabulary and language, and so I think it's also advanced for that, because if you don't know exactly what you are choosing, you could be choosing the complete wrong thing. And you could be ordering something that's way more expensive than you would anticipated, because it's down to here, or you get something up to here and you were like, whoa, that's way too short. So
you're dealing with when you get, so definitely 100% advanced is human hair. I would not suggest anybody that is just getting into wigs order a human hair wig unless it's a hairband wig, seriously, because it is a lot of work. You're dealing with densities, literally. There's 100% density, 120%, 140, 160, 180. And the higher the density, that means the more volume is on the wig. That means the more hair. So, until you know whether or not you like a lot of hair, you like a little bit of hair, you got to kind of know. And everybody is not consistent. So maybe I order a wig from this company, A company, and their 160 is like a lot of volume. But I order from B and it's 160, but you're like, this is hardly any volume. So you have to be really careful with that. Also, when it comes to advanced human, I'm talking about human hair still, when you're working with baby hairs, right? People like human hair wigs tend to have a lot of baby hair. Working with
even
that, laying and
baby hairs
done,
can get a little crazed.
And in human hair, it's even more. I think a little bit more work to like really lay it down or cut them off or whatever it is you're going to do. And then most human hair, that's when you're definitely going to be coming into doing some lace melting, lace tinting. It's really important that you read the instructions of your human hair wig and what they say. A lot of times they will come with tips with what to use on the hair. I highly recommend you follow whatever products that manufacturer is saying. And if your manufacturer doesn't have that information, you want to buy products for whatever the hair is. So for example, if I'm buying a kinky curly wig, then you want to use human hair products that are made for a kinky curly type of hair. Don't go get some, I don't know, whatever straightening whatever and think your curls are going to be popping. No, like it's human hair. And in order to get that, you need that. And so just make sure that if you are buying human hair, when it comes to products, using products that are geared toward that hair type. Also, you want to make sure that you are cleaning the wig, washing the wig. That's a more advanced thing to do. If you're wearing it a lot, making sure you're taking care, especially, and like Tia mentioned earlier, read also with these glues, because there's a ton of glues and a ton of sprays. Read them, because I did a review.
Read how to use them and read how to remove them.
Let me tell you guys, I did a review on this wig glue that is...
The Ebon?
Yes, and you can use water. It will still stick with water. Girl, getting that wig off, it is no joke. I was like, ooh, Jesus, I want my hair when I take this wig off, Jesus. So it is stuff out there. If you want to wear and glue it down, baby, it will glue it down, but make sure that you read how it tells you to take it off. And that comes with the product.
Yeah, sometimes they don't, though.
Yeah, not all of them do. So just...
Before you glue it on, make sure that's in the bag.
I don't want to say general, because every product, I don't want to be like, Equoia said, and then you get something like my hair. But just read what that thing says. Not what you've seen somebody do on YouTube. Read what is on the box, on the packaging. Read what it says they are telling you to do. That's how you want to remove it.
And I think one of the last things in terms of advanced just in general, and this is just an understanding, the more elements,
the more
factors, the more features, the things. So for an example, there's this wig from Trestle. I love it. It's called Trend. It is a short curly, wavy style with bangs that has a lace front and a monofilament. So you have a lot of options for this to come out of the box looking crazy. It's a very cute style, but it is not a I'm going to open this, shake this out. Like a lot of name brand wigs, it's really like you still have to mess with them, but they're meant to be like a shake and go, like a ready to go. This style is not that, because you have all the elements that can be very preferential, very temperamental. You have curly, wavy. You have bangs with lace front, which is a great feature, but then that means some of the bangs can be this way, that way.
Right.
Then you have this, which is a monofilament, so you can move these curls anywhere too.
Yes.
So you got bangs that can go anywhere, curls that are going anywhere. You have a short, trendy style. So I would say advanced also, and this is obviously just our opinion and we're being super general. If it's a very trendy wig, like the mullet or a pixie or something that you are not used to, I wouldn't buy your very first wig never wearing wigs that you're like, oh, I'm going to wear a mullet. That's the wig that I'm going to run out of the gate with.
A short wig.
Right.
I would say,
and I don't even know what
that.
I look like in short hair.
Yeah.
So that would be the last like advanced thing, would just be.
Oh, I just thought of one more thing.
Okay, it's not the last thing.
I'm sorry.
One more.
I'm sorry. Because we do this a lot with the hairlines, the plucking of the hairline. I just thought about
plucking.
Do not be out here plucking hairlines if you're just starting. That is an advanced thing. Because if you take too much hair, you can rip the lace. You can ruin the lace, like Tia was saying, with cutting.
If you're using tweezers, you can rip the lace.
You can literally, yes. And once you pull that hair out, you can't put it back unless you know how to literally stitch the hair back in, but you can't. And you can mess up some stuff. So
I do have a video on how to use powder to close apart. So meaning I had this one wig that it was from Main Concept, and it was just a lace part wig, and for some reason the part was real far in general. Okay. So I have a video on how to use powder to close it up. But it also works if you over pluck.
Yes.
But what I learned is, because I actually usually pluck, I take tweezers, but I usually take a little bit of tweezers to loosen the hair, and then I take it around my finger and pull.
Yeah, I've seen people do that too.
I've gotten good at it, but there were a couple times when I took that around my finger and I pulled a hole right in the middle of the lace.
I've done it too, but I was able to use makeup to cover it up.
Yeah, so.
But just, that's an advanced thing. Don't feel like I should be out here plucking wigs yet. That's definitely advanced thing. And the other thing I want to say with human hair is you have these U parts, V parts, where you have, especially if it's a curlier texture or a wavier texture, where you have to take your own hair out of the top to blend in with the wig. That is also an advanced thing, because the key to making the wig look realistic is you have to manipulate your hair
into the wig.
And so I would say that's also an advanced thing. So just stay away from those unless you are more experienced, especially with human. And they're having more synthetic come out that way, but
yeah, they do have some U part and oval part. You also hear it called oval part.
So just be careful with that.
Overall, I think in general, if you're watching like a wig slayer or a wig reviewer, anybody, if they do this, if they work with wigs on a regular basis, or if it's someone that you know that's been wearing wigs for 10 years, please understand that you're not going to be rolling out the gate doing the things that they're doing, and that just because someone on you, especially on YouTube, I think they can make it look very easy because that is what is going on.
Yeah, that's what we do.
But just know that that may not be where you're at. So, but don't feel bad like you're doing it wrong, or it's just they're just a little more advanced than you are.
And really the whole point of this episode is just to explain to you features. So if you are watching a YouTube video and they mention this wig has 13x5 lace, or it's a U part, or whatever,
it's a human hair,
they kind of know, okay, that might be a little bit more advanced for me. Or, oh, I'm advanced, so I can probably work with that. It's just more of a general thing so that you know when you're watching YouTube videos, because we do get a lot of people. And I've even had people who said, I feel like I ordered that wig, but it didn't look on me like it looked on you. And it might be because of the skill set, or it could just be maybe that wig just isn't flattering on you. On the style. And that could be a lot of reasons why.
Yeah.
But the whole concept of this conversation was to just kind of help you know what features
Like
and
where
what
to start.
things, where to start. Yeah. So I hope that it did that. I
Yeah.
hope that it helped you. And if you have any questions or any other things that you feel like, I feel like this is a beginner, intermediate, advanced, please put it in the comments if you're
Yes.
watching on YouTube. And then if you are listening and you have not already rated and reviewed yet, please do that. That helps us get found in search on the podcast. So we love you guys. Thank you
We
so
do.
much for listening.
If you haven't checked out our other episodes,
Yes.
feel free to binge, and you can do that right now.
Go back.
We will see you in our next episode,
Yes.
and we can't wait.
See you on Wednesday. We're here every Wednesday.
Bye.
Bye. If you enjoyed the episode and you'd like to help support the Wig Life podcast, please subscribe and leave a rating or review wherever you like to listen.
To stay up to date with the Wig Life podcast, visit our website and follow us on socials everywhere at Wig Life Podcast. See you.